Hi. Uh, we're going to go over some very basic first steps for setting up the Behringer or Midas mixers. You're going to encounter these in the 120 in PH1. There, we use them here at the point. There are a couple of them at the rec center, or maybe one at the rec center. But anyway, they have all slightly different layouts based on how many inputs they have and so forth, and which model they are, either the Behringer or the Midas. But the software works exactly the same way on both of them, on all of them, I should say. And the layout that you're going to see in a minute when I show you the mixer itself, the only difference is that, say, inputs 9 through 16 have just quarter-inch inputs on some of the Behringer ones, and the Midas are all XLR or combo jacks, XLR and quarter-inch. Don't worry about that right now, but just know that if you do see something different than what I'm showing you here, it's going to be slightly different, so not a big issue. Okay, so to start, the way the system works is by we control it via an application in a laptop or on an iPad or perhaps your phone if you choose to do that. I don't force you to put anything on your phone, but if you want to, you are allowed to. So you can walk around the venue and make adjustments. But what we're going to talk about now is just how to get it off the ground, how to get signal into the channels. And from there, once you've got your signal in the channels, you can raise up your levels, and you can also make other adjustments like equalization or compression or what have you to make it sound better. Okay, so you're gonna forgive my camera work here. I'm gonna do something guerrilla style. Okay. In order for us to talk to the mixer, which is down here, as you can see, all right? In order to talk to that mixer, we need to have our device, which is going to be our laptop or iPad or tablet, whatever, talking to the router, right? So your first step is going to be connecting to this router. The passwords are all written on the bottom, so that's easy to find. And then here's a part that sometimes people get tripped up on. The Ethernet cable needs to be connected to one of the outputs of the router. The blue one in this case is an input, so you can disregard that. That would be like if you were at home and your internet service provider was sending you data or sending you the internet, if you want to look at it that way, you would plug that into this router, and then it would wirelessly distribute all that data around your domicile. And the four wired outputs, those orange ones, are for your non-portable devices like desktop computers and so forth that you're not using Wi-Fi for, or if you want a more stable connection, that kind of thing. But the way we use this is just one output cable, as you can see, coming out of that orange output, going into the mixer here, right? It says remote. And if I can get this switch shown, this switch here is going to be pushed all the way over to the left, so it's making that input work. Okay? Also, I've got 3 microphones, which you'll see in a second, wired microphones. And this one is the wire that is the microphone that I'm using to talk to you through the system. So I did a little extra connecting, which for the moment you don't have to worry about. All right. So that's that. Computer. Well, let me switch here. Do a little video editing. Okay. You should be able to see. I guess you can't because I'm in sort of the wrong place. There we go. I'm going to move this a little bit. If I go to my Wi-Fi tab, you're going to see all of your available wireless networks. In this case, the router is called the TP-Link. So we're connected to that. And we have to be connected to the TP-Link in order for, whoops, I turned it off. Turn it back on again. Okay. Now we're connected to the TP-Link. My computer wirelessly is speaking to the router, which then sends signal into the mixer. And all of the decisions that I make are going to be sent through that this setup that you're looking at right now. Okay. Let me put myself back up here. Whoops. Move this around. Okay. Here is one of the 3 microphones that I've got to prove to you. They're all here. All right. I don't know which is which. I should have paid attention to that, but we'll figure it out real soon. All right. The first thing you do in all cases with any device that you connect to the mixer, I'm going to come over here to channel 1. You can see my comically large cursor in aquamarine and red, so you can see it. We've selected channel 1, right? I'm going to go to either my channel tab right up here or my input tab. Doesn't really matter, but we're going to use the input tab just because there's less going on. You go to your input tab. Your first thing that you do every single time without fail, and you must do it every single time without fail, is raise the mic gain. All right, and I'm going to raise it up to, I'm going to say 30, because 30 is, generally speaking, a good level for the particular mics that I'm using. I guess it's this one. Check, check, yes. So this mic here, you can see, I haven't done anything to this fader right here. Notice it's all the way down. I just know that I'm getting signal in channel 1. Okay, so I'm going to go on to channel 2. Channel 2. Whoops, you know what I did? I'm sending you way more signal than you need. Sorry about that. We'll have to hear what it sounds like later. I'm sure it's no good. Okay, check, check. So that's channel 1. Now I'm going to move over to channel 2. Same thing. I'm going to raise it up to 30. Right? I can also go here and type it in. Can't I? Yeah, let's see. Okay, so if I just type in 30, enter, I'm back to 30. So I can do that also. And I guess, check, check. I don't know which mic it is. Check, check. No, I was right. Check, check. It's that one. Okay, and the same thing for mic 3. Input 3. Just raise it up to 30. Okay, see, this is at 30. So now what we have is all of the gains for the mics that we're going to be using are set properly. All right, we know that. And any other problems that we encounter isn't going to be because the system's not getting signal. It's going to be some other issue. But we'll worry about that if we run into it. So over here, right, channels 1, 2, and 3 are connected. However, because I started the application, this application, MR, right out of the box, it comes with the main output level all the way down. I want this main output level, my left and right output, to be at 0. So I can do that two ways. I can raise it up here, or again, I can go in here and I can type in 0, enter, and now my fader for my left and right main outputs are going to be set properly for the moment. Left and right is what's referred to as a bus, but we're just going to call it an output. The left and right output that the audience is listening to, right? That's your main speakers that the audience listens to. There are differences between auxiliary outputs and the main output, but we're just going to stay on the main output for now. Okay? Now we're going to come back here to channel 1, and I'm going to raise up channel 1 and channel 2 and channel 3. I'm going to raise all of these up based on the type of signal that I have going in. And when I say type of signal, I mean the intensity of the signal. So it could be anything, right? It could be a snare drum or a saxophone or a third grader or a zebra or anything that makes sound that you are recording is your source of your signal. And the difference between these sources are in terms of amplitude or loudness and frequency or pitch. And your adjustments that you're going to make are going to be to keep those things in control. However, just for a real world case, I'm going to go to channel 1 and I'm going to call this first input is being used by a guy named Mr. Loud. Okay? And channel number 2 is going to be used by a woman named Ms. Soft. Okay? I guess we'll make her the same color. And number 3 is going to be Ms. Right. So she's at, well, let's not be so judgmental. Let's call her Ms. Medium. Okay? And we'll make her green also. All right, so I have 3 different people up there, but for whatever reason, Mr. Loud is way louder than Ms. Soft and Ms. Medium, and Ms. Medium is louder than Ms. Soft, but not so much as Mr. Loud. You get the idea. So you have 3 different sound levels. That means that when I adjust my faders, they're not all going to be at the same level here. They're going to be representative of the source's amplitude or loudness, because I want them all to be represented in the mix kind of in balance of one another and not all the same. But I want everyone to be audible. Okay, so there's a kind of a trick there. You need to keep that in mind. So the way these faders might look, because what we're doing with a fader, what all of these faders do, is they decide based on how much they're up and down, what their levels are, how much of the gain, right here, that we set at 30, how much of the gain is making its way to the left and right output, which is here. So just think about that for a second. The faders, these three faders, decide how much gain goes to the audience, okay, to the main outputs. So that means if Mr. Loud is speaking into his microphone very loud, he's going to give us a lot of signal, right? Ms. Soft is not going to give us a lot of signal, so I'm going to probably have to raise up this fader a little more and possibly raise up the gain too, but for now we're just going to leave it alone. The fader will be higher than Mr. Loud's. And well, let's exaggerate it. Let's move her all the way up here. And then Ms. Medium will be somewhere in between the two. But of course, I don't know that. I'm just giving you general rules. If we go back to Ms. Soft, and you think, yeah, she needs more gain. You have a limited amount of room to move here. You can't just crank up the gain forever, you know, all the way up. You're going to have to find something down here, probably in the 30 to 35 range. And the reason is because if you just have too much gain coming into the system without a lot of signal, you're going to probably end up feeding back and getting that horrible squealing sound. The thing to do in cases like that is, honestly, is a very analog approach, old-fashioned. You're just going to go up to Ms. Soft and you're going to say to her, listen, I need more from you. You know, maybe have her hold the mic closer to her mouth, or maybe ask her to, you know, speak up more. You don't have a lot of options. Okay? But talking to the client is not a bad idea if they're going to not provide you with the requisite amount of signal that you need. Okay, so this is the basic setup. Right here, you're ready to go. If you did nothing else to this system, you would probably be fine in most venues. Although, I think I'll address this in the next video. But this, like I say, this is the basic setup, and you will be fine with this. So we'll stop it here, and then you'll wait for the next video for the next set of tweaks that you can make to improve the sound. Okay? Thanks.